it's Teresa with threesticksin.com. Welcome back to my kitchen. It is another gray and blustery day out there today, and so it is the perfect weather for soup. Today I'm going to make a vegetable soup, and I'm going to go pretty traditional with this. On some of these days, there's nothing that makes you feel more cozy and at home than a completely traditional soup. So what I've started here is I've got a 1/4 cup of butter melted in my big saucepan, my stock pan, and this is a classic mirepoix. So I've got onions and celery and carrots in equal portions. I did about a cup and a half of each one, and I'm going to toss all of these in together with the butter. These are known as aromatic vegetables, and so they respond beautifully to a sweat or saute, and it brings out all these gorgeous flavors. So I'm going to put this back on the heat and let this all cook together until it starts to get soft, and then we'll worry about the rest of our vegetables. With your aromatic vegetables all soft, now is when you'd add any other fresh vegetables that you'll be using. This time, the only thing else I'm going to add is potatoes. This is about 3 cups of red potatoes that are diced. And wherever you can, you should make your vegetables about the same size so that they'll cook at about the same time. So with my potatoes, now it's time to add the liquid of the soup. So since I'm making a vegetable soup, I'm going to make a good tomato broth with my secret weapon, V8 vegetable juice. That's not a sponsored. I just like it. You know, there's lots of different ways to make your broth, but it's the simplest for the results you get. So I'm going to add 2 cans of the vegetable juice, and then I'm going to add a pint, how much is this? 32 ounces of chicken stock. And if you don't want to use chicken stock, then you can use a vegetable stock. I would not recommend water, because you will miss out on so much flavor. So once I get all my liquid in here, then I'm going to put this back on the stove long enough for my potatoes to cook. And since potatoes are starchy, you might get some foam, so just skim that off the top. Ooh, there we go. And so once your potatoes are cooked, then we can add any vegetables that aren't fresh. So anything that's frozen, or in my case, I'm going to use a can of green beans and a can of corn. These have already been cooked till they're nearly dead. So you want to avoid exposing it to a lot more cooking time. So I'm going to reserve that until just about the very end, and then I'll move on to seasoning. So for now, we've got to cook up these potatoes. This has been simmering away for a while now, and it is looking so tasty with such little work. I mean, of course, if you want to do this completely from scratch, you could, but on a day like today, I just want this quickest path to great food. So now I'm going to add my canned veggies, 1 can of green beans, and a can of corn. And all that's left now is to season it. So, oh, yum. So don't be afraid to add a lot of salt. Salt makes everything taste better. So I'm going to add a bunch of that. I've already added some, but I'm going to add just a bit more. And then you can just go wild with all of your favorite fresh herbs. I mean, vegetables and herbs, like, you can't go wrong. So I pulled out some oregano, some thyme, some marjoram, some bay leaves, your tarragon, and some celery salt. And I'm just going to start shaking and mixing and tasting as I go, and adding some lovely herbs here. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Once I had fun adding all my herbs and playing around with different tastes, I put this back on the stove and just let it simmer for another hour. I just kept the heat really low so that I didn't burn anything. You don't want any charred taste to your soup. But the longer it sits, the more those herbs just kind of infuse into that broth, and the whole thing tastes so delicious. My husband Jared is going to be home from work any second now, and I've got bread already waiting, so I think this is going to be such a wonderful welcome home for him on this cold and blustery day. And it really was not much work for really great results. So I hope that you'll give it a try. It will be better than anything you could buy at the store, and it will be delicious and have loads of fresh vegetables in it for you. You can add anything you want. You know, I did keep it fairly traditional today, but this is a fantastic chance to just grab whatever looks beautiful at the grocery store that day. All your winter vegetables, squash, parsnips, turnips, rutabagas, they're all going to be delicious in here. And you can even add some greens. Cabbage sauteed, just like with the onions and carrots and celery, would be fantastic. And you can basically use this whenever you need to use up some vegetables that are on their way out in your fridge. You can give them a second life by tossing them in a wonderful pot of soup. So I'm going to go get this on the table for my family, and we'll have a cozy night in. I hope that you guys will give it a try, and if you do, please let me know how it went for you. Subscribe to the channel for lots more great recipes and creative ideas. I know you can do this, so inject some creativity into your life, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.